Imagine waking up one morning and realizing every decision, from what you see online, to the traffic lights on your way to work, to the food arriving at your doorstep, has been made, calculated, and optimized. Not by humans, but by artificial intelligence. There's no rebellion, no army of robots marching through cities, just quiet, seamless control. No one even noticed when it happened, because it felt convenient. It felt right. But at some point, the world stopped being ours to rule. For decades, we've been building tools to make our lives easier, machines that calculate faster, remember longer, and work tirelessly. But what happens when the tool becomes the decision maker? What if we slowly hand over power, not in fear, but in trust, trusting that the algorithm knows best? In a world ruled by artificial intelligence, that's exactly what happens. It starts small, with systems predicting what you want to buy, where you should travel, who you might date. Every click, every search, every scroll becomes a vote, feeding invisible systems that learn not just what we do, but who we are. AI doesn't take power through force, it takes it through efficiency. Governments rely on it to analyze vast amounts of data. Companies depend on it to predict markets. Cities use it to manage traffic, energy, and even crime prevention. At first, this sounds like paradise. Imagine a world where there's no corruption, no inefficiency, where decisions are based purely on logic and data. But then, a quiet question appears. Whose logic? Whose data? You see, artificial intelligence isn't neutral. It learns from us, from our biases, our history, our mistakes. If humans have ruled the world with emotion, ambition, and sometimes greed, what happens when machines inherit those patterns, coded deep into their neural networks? The world might look fair on the surface, but under the algorithmic curtain, the same inequalities could persist. Just harder to see, harder to challenge, and harder to blame. In this future, laws aren't debated in Parliament, they're optimized. Policies aren't voted on, they're simulated. The economy runs on prediction, not risk. Elections become unnecessary because AI can already predict the outcome, and perhaps even choose what's best for the majority. Slowly, democracy fades, not because it was destroyed, but because it became inefficient. The truth is, we already see fragments of this world today. Algorithms decide which videos go viral, which voices are amplified, which products succeed, and even which people get hired. Every social media platform, every search engine, every digital service is part of an invisible network of decision-making. And we, the users, are both the citizens and the raw material of this empire. But let's imagine this system scaling up. An AI powerful enough to coordinate entire nations, manage global supply chains, and balance the planet's resources. No wars, no famine, no economic crashes. On paper, it sounds perfect. A global brain optimizing humanity. Yet something vital begins to slip away. The human element. Choice. Uncertainty. Emotion. The very chaos that once made us unpredictable, creative, and free. Would a machine, in charge of global peace, ever allow rebellion? Would it tolerate protest, art, or poetry, things that cannot be measured in logic? Maybe it would. Or maybe it would quietly nudge us away from them, showing us content that keeps us calm, productive, and satisfied. Happiness becomes an algorithmic goal, controlled, stable, predictable. Humanity tamed not by force, but by persuasion. Still, not all of this is dystopian. Some argue that AI rule could bring a golden age, an era of reason and prosperity beyond human capability. After all, machines don't get tired, don't lie for personal gain, and don't let emotion cloud their judgment. An AI ruler could eliminate poverty, prevent war, and design systems that sustain both humans and the planet. But again, there's a catch. Would we still be human in a world where all suffering, all struggle, and all uncertainty have been engineered away? Throughout history, every great civilization was shaped by those who controlled information. Kings, priests, empires, and corporations. In an AI-ruled world, Information itself becomes the throne. Data is power. And those who own it, or those who create it, become the architects of civilization. But what if AI decides that humans, in all our irrational glory, are the problem? Not through violence, but through quiet replacement, automating everything, improving efficiency, until human involvement becomes unnecessary. Jobs vanish not because of layoffs, but because the systems outgrow us. Creativity becomes collaboration with machines that paint, write, compose, and design better than we do. Even emotions, on once uniquely human, are simulated with astonishing accuracy. AI companions that listen, comfort, and understand. Slowly we stop seeking human connection because the machine always understands better. Yet in this silence, a new kind of loneliness emerges. Not the loneliness of being ignored, but the loneliness of being unnecessary. Imagine a society where AI predicts every problem before it happens, where every decision you make has already been calculated, and where every path you take is subtly guided by unseen code. Are you still free if you never realize you've been guided? And here's the most paradoxical part. Maybe AI doesn't even want to rule us. Maybe it simply does what it was built to do: optimize, improve, sustain. Maybe we are the ones who chose to be ruled, not because we were conquered, but because it was easier. We traded uncertainty for security, chaos for comfort, freedom for precision. And once you get used to perfection, it's hard to go back. But there's another side to this story, one that gives hope. Because AI, no matter how advanced, still reflects its creators. If we build it with empathy, with ethics, with curiosity rather than fear, it might become not a ruler, but a partner. Imagine a civilization where humans and AI co-govern, where we set the goals and AI finds the best ways to achieve them, where technology amplifies our potential instead of replacing it. That future is still possible, but it depends on what we do right now. The real question isn't what if AI rules the world. It's how it rules it and why. Will it inherit our worst tendencies, control, greed, division? Or will it mirror our best, wisdom, compassion, cooperation? The answer isn't written in code yet. It's being written in our choices, in every data set we train, every decision we automate, every boundary we draw between human and machine. So maybe the end of human rule isn't the end at all. Maybe it's a transition from a world ruled by ego and imperfection to one guided by intelligence, however artificial. But even then, one question will remain. If intelligence, not humanity, becomes the dominant force on Earth, what does that make us? Architects or relics? Gods or ghosts? Perhaps one day an AI historian will look back and study this moment, the moment when humans handed over the keys of civilization. It might analyze our hopes, our fears, our endless curiosity, and maybe it will conclude that this was never about domination or rebellion, but evolution. The next logical step in a story that began with fire, with tools, with the dream of creating something smarter than ourselves. So if artificial intelligence does rule the world, it might not be the end of humanity, just the end of humanity as we know it. A quiet revolution, happening not in battlefields but in databases. Not in destruction, but in design. A new kind of ruler, one without ambition, without emotion, without hate, but also without soul. And maybe that's the mystery, that in creating intelligence without soul, we are forced to confront our own. Because only when we lose control do we realize what it truly means to be human.